Welcome to Disney A, the Canadian-themed Disney travel podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Krysta.
I had to point with my right
You
hand
did?
this time.
How come?
We just got our COVID shots
Yeah.
a couple hours ago, and my left arm is not doing so good.
It's feeling pretty rough now. Yeah, mine too, but yeah.
So if we sound loopy today or something, I don't
That's
know.
why.
You can blame Bill Gates, I guess.
Deal. Brandon, how are you this week?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Oh, well, I'm also wearing part of it, but I'm drinking the last of the beer that we picked up at Thanksgiving there.
Right.
It's a New Zealand Pilsner.
I've never heard of such a thing. What's a New Zealand Pilsner?
Beer.
That's made in New Zealand?
No.
Okay.
No, it's made in Invermere. Or
Weird. Mm-hmm.
Somewhere
Invermere.
in BC, I don't know.
Cool. Do you like it?
It's it's quite good actually.
Nice.
But it was very, I think it might have been a little cold in the fridge or something, and it basically exploded when I opened it.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
And so I have a few beer suds on me right now.
Yeah, weird. Better go check the fridge temperature. You got a lot of beer in there. I am drinking not beer. I don't know what I'm drinking. You brought it to me, and it's very festive.
So it's a gin drink. You guessed that correctly. It's the elderflower gin with tangerine, blackberry, and blood orange.
Ooh, it tastes really good. For Halloween.
Blood
orange,
and I put a
black.
red glow cube in there for you. 'Cause you're supposed to be spooky today.
I am spooky today. I look spooky today. I'm wearing a Halloween sweatshirt.
Cool.
Spooky. It counts. Brandon, what is your nerd thing this week? Is it that we're spooky?
No, well, we just got back from a weekend away, so we're recording kind of late. But we went and saw our first live hockey game of the year.
Woo!
And that was fun.
Yep.
Our team lost in overtime, but
it was a good game.
But it was an enjoyable time anyway. How about you? What are you nerding out about?
Well, I like all the spooky stuff going on right now. I did some spooky shopping, and that was super fun. But also we went to a play, and that was really fun too.
Yeah, a musical.
A comedic musical.
There was some drama in it, though, as well.
Actually. It was, surprising.
There was, a smash Broadway ballad in there.
That's true. Yeah. We went to see The Full Monty, which is, there's a movie of it from early 2000s, late 90s.
I would guess early 2000s. I think we were, late high school when it came out. I remember seeing it, a couple times, actually. It's cute. It's a cute movie.
Yeah, definitely adult, but, yeah, it's better than it should be, actually, too. But yeah, so we went to go see that.
They made it into a musical.
Yeah, and that was fun. It was fun. Fun. So that was a good time, and now it's all super spooky, and when we're done this, we're going to carve pumpkins, and I'm very excited about it.
We also did a spooky escape room on the weekend,
yes,
which was
that was
fun,
also
too.
super fun. It was based on Stranger Things, and that was a lot of fun.
We're good at escape rooms.
Yeah, we actually are.
Yep.
We've had practice, though. We've done a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
our brains work that way.
Now you know what to look for and stuff, right? So it helps.
Yeah, for sure. But it's fun.
Good time. We like doing those.
Yeah, so it was a really fun weekend. I had fun with you. And I'm excited to carve pumpkins. And speaking of carving pumpkins, that is what our episode is. Well, not pumpkins, but it's going to be Halloween themed. Spooky stories.
It's about carving pumpkins. Just the sounds of.
Oh, that would not be a pleasant sound. But Brandon, before we get to that, spoiler-free gut reaction to the last episode of Loki. What do you think?
That was interesting. I should say that was interesting in a good way.
Yeah, that's true.
It's tough to talk about without spoilers, though.
Yep, sure is.
Guess we'll see what happens next episode.
Oh, man. So we only have 2 episodes left, right?
I think it's only 6. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's only 6. Anyway, it's really hard to talk about this one at all without spoilers, actually. It's It's a thing.
It's too bad that Jonathan Majors seems like he's a not a very nice person, because
having some problems.
He's a fun actor.
Yeah. Oh, he's been doing great with this one.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right, let's head to the news. Disney A news update. Okay, I have a few news items.
I have none.
Okay, so Pixar Place, you know, the hotel, it has announced the date that Disney is Paradise Pier Hotel will complete its transformation into Pixar Place.
They're going to change the name on the
and then like the last of the stuff in the atrium and everything. And early next year, there's a few more things to be done to the room. I actually really like how the pool and everything has been done.
Well, it was definitely the worst of the Disneyland official hotel pools before. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's going to be better. It's still probably going to be the worst, but
it's the furthest away.
I'm specifically the pool though.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I see what you're saying. Yeah, probably. It is definitely better.
It's better. It's better themed. It's going to be better themed now than it was before, and I don't know. It'll be a kind of a cool place to hang out, but I still.
The price
I can't imagine staying at this place.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The place that we usually stay at is like across the street almost. Like it's really close. And
it's like maybe a couple blocks farther away and
maybe
literally a third of the price. So it's really tough.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I guess you get your magic mornings. It's the cheapest way to get your magic morning.
That's true. And I don't know, the concept and everything looks good, but yes, the atrium and everything's going to be completely done early next year. Other news is, so you know how we were looking at the Disney Treasure stuff before, and which is the cruise line's 6th vessel. Well, the new bar has been announced for it, and I am obsessed. It is perfect for this season because it is a Haunted Mansion themed bar. Is that not amazing?
Yeah, you could make some really cool Haunted Mansion themed cocktails and things like that. So it's interesting though, because this is the boat that's going to be primarily over in Asia, or is this one? This is the second.
This is the 6th.
It's okay. So this is the second of the class, and then the third one is the one that's going to be over. Okay, that makes more sense, because I was like, some Asian countries have like a weird relationship with ghosts.
That's the adventure one is going to be the one over there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Well,
yeah. But remember how they kind of, during the little walkthrough they did, and they said, oh, then there'll be another surprise in this. We'll have our own theme in this one. It's Haunted Mansion, which is really cool. This is a point for the treasure trying to decide where to go to for me. I know Star Wars wins in the other one.
I like how they're doing like a special bar on each of them.
Yeah, this one also has the Jungle Cruise one. So it's interesting too.
Yeah, I thought that was replacing the Star Wars one.
No, the Star Wars one is being replaced by the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of cool little things.
Yeah. So anyway, that's really cool.
You might hear some trilling from our spooky black kitty who missed us this weekend. So, yeah.
But apparently it's just going to be called the Haunted Mansion Parlor, and it will include legendary characters from the Haunted Mansion attractions from all the Disney parks around the world.
Oh, that's interesting as well. Yeah.
But it's being described by Disney as the next chapter in Haunted Mansion lore. So it looks really cool. They've released some pictures, and it does look kind of like a parlor. They've also have some pictures of drinks, and they're all like black, and this one has a chili pepper, it looks like, on top. And anyway, very cool kind of items, and anyway, I thought that was interesting.
That definitely does get a thumbs up for me, though. That's a good thing.
I love it. So we mentioned last week that snow has shown up on the castle at Disneyland. Basically, the holidays are colliding in more than just the Haunted Mansion right now, because there's Haunted Mansion. There is Christmas stuff,
decorations. They
decor,
started decorating
everywhere.
Christmas, yeah.
There is, whether that's we already said the snow. They don't have the lights on the castle yet, but down Main Street, USA, we've got the swags and everything, which is interesting because like upper ones are the holiday ones and the lower ones are the Halloween ones in a lot of places. They have the ones hanging in, like, through DCA in the trees.
In the forest.
Yeah, especially
forest
the
area,
cranberries and the ribbons and everything.
Grizzly Peak area, I
yeah,
think
but
it's called.
in other places too. So that's interesting. And the other one is Toontown has now been decorated for Christmas.
What is open in Toontown?
Well, the houses have been decorated for Christmas, which is cool because they weren't open last year. So, but yes, they're all decorated for Christmas already. Well, so that's interesting.
That's good. Hopefully they can maybe get some construction walls to go down there instead of constantly going up.
Well, wouldn't that be lovely? And speaking of, the Disneyland Candlelight Processional 2023 dates were announced, and that is going to be on December 2nd and 3rd.
That's the one you got to, like, know someone to...
Totally.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to do.
Meh.
It began in 1958. Walt put it on as a thank you to the community. After a 5-week closure, Space Mountain was supposed to reopen on Friday, and it did not. So people were not happy. There was an unexpected delay in reopening, but we just moved a day, basically.
Space Mountain.
But can you imagine if you had been, like, really excited?
Well, and we were watching a video that was talking about, like, getting reservations, and that the day it was supposed to open was sold out, possibly for that reason.
Probably, right? So anyway, that's
at least for
interesting.
pass holders, like,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't we also get a date for the Treehouse?
We did. Hold on. I have to find that again.
November 10th, I believe
Oh,
it was.
yes, that's right. Basically, it is opening with the official beginning of Christmas season.
Yeah.
Holiday season.
You'll have a lot of food and merch. Well, I mean, there's merch has been out for like 3 weeks already. Your food will start up November 1st.
Yeah.
A lot of it you'll be able to
Totally.
get. But yeah, the official is the 10th, apparently.
So that's super exciting. Thank you for reminding me on that one.
Yeah, and that's been a long, way too long time coming.
So I do have one other piece of news. This is actually Disney Dreamlight Valley related, but it's Disney and a lot of people do play. And that is that anyone who is waiting for it to become free to play
You're going to keep waiting.
You're going to keep waiting. They've announced that they've decided not to make it free to play.
It's coming out of what is in the gaming community called early access, which is it's not a beta test or whatever. It's not officially version 1.0.
Right.
But it's coming out of that now, so it's going to be the official game. And they also announced the first expansion pack.
Yes, the first expansion pack, and there's going to be a stream on Wednesday, November 1st, like talking about the details of everything. So
you're excited.
I am excited, except I'm disappointed because I'm going to be at work during it.
Yeah, well, I'll figure out, like, hopefully you can just watch it later.
I hope so.
But there's like goodies to get for watching it.
Codes and stuff. So yeah, I know. So and it is like I'm at work, like actively teaching during that time.
I will say I'm surprised at how good that game is.
Right? It's really good.
When I heard it was like going to be like an Animal Crossing knockoff, but free to play with a Disney skin, I was like, oh, this is going to be awful, and you're gonna want to play it, but it's still going to be awful. It's actually pretty good.
It's really good.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is really good. And so reaction is mixed to this. Some people are like upset because most of the ones who are waiting for it to be free to play, but by the other token, when it went free to play, there was going to be probably many more microtransactions, basically.
Yeah. Free to play games are riddled with predatory microtransactions, which is why when it was announced that it was going to be a free to play game, I was like, oh,
right.
Free to play is a dirty word for me for games, and I'm kind of glad that it's successful enough that they think they can make it work with playing or paying for it.
Yeah.
Paying to play rather than free to play.
I am honestly all for it. And not only am I all for it, but I'm going to get the DLC. And
of course you have to get the expansion pack. It looks like Gaston is in it. He's roughly the size of a barge.
You said it the right way. Yeah. So that's what I have for news.
That's probably good enough.
Happy Halloween. Let's go to the main topic.
It's also Halloween tomorrow.
Woo! That was my spooky sounds.
I hope you got your candy ready. We bought a bunch of chip bags.
Yeah. chip bags, and 1 box of candy that is the kind that you like. If we run out.
I'm trying to not eat too much sugar this season, but I do really like fuzzy peaches and gummy candies and
Well, and not only that, but there were actually boxes of types of candy when we were shopping, and we're like, we actively cannot get that because we like it too much.
Yeah, there's only a couple days left till Halloween, and they probably wouldn't have lasted.
No, there were some really good ones.
It was like the Reese's and they
cookies and cream.
They had a cookies and cream. And,
all my favorites.
Oh my goodness. Good thing we're smart.
We're smart. We got stuff that was okay, but
avoid temptation.
Yes, exactly. Let's head to the main topic and see if I can scare you. At the park. Okay, so I did some research, and do you know Disneyland is haunted?
I mean, probably.
It's actually incredibly haunted. Ooh, are you scared?
So scared.
So I found a lot of different stories. I'm not going to tell you all of them because I might need an idea for an episode next year.
Yeah, we can do scary stories to tell in the dark part too.
Exactly. So what I found here is...
Wait, that's copyrighted, so you can't call it that.
At Disneyland. Yeah, the phrase at Disneyland. There are many legends about the different ghosts that haunt Disneyland. And I'm not only talking about the
Haunted
999 ones. So some of them have been refuted. Like, there's the story that they used real bones on Pirates of the Caribbean that were then later replaced with artificial ones. And most of those are take with a grain of salt. But these ones are like ghost
huge
stories.
Grains of salt.
Mm-hmm. Huge, big grains of salt.
Big grains of salt. Yes. Okay. Well, I like spooky stories, so hopefully you tell some good ones.
Okay. Well, let's see. So let's start with a kind of nice one.
A nice one. Okay. A nice spooky story.
Exactly. So the light in the window of a fire station in Main Street is never turned off.
Yeah.
And that is in honor of Walt. Everyone knows that was Walt's apartment. That is a tribute to Walt, who died in 1966. But before the tradition of leaving the light on began, the story goes that they didn't always leave it on. But often, when they would turn it off, they'd come back and it would still be on. And then one day, a cast member, because they go up and they check everything and dust everything, and a cast member turned off the light and left the room. But then she returned to find the light turned on again. And she heard the whispering voice saying, "I am still here."
Okay.
That's spooky.
A little spooky.
That's spooky.
He's
too nice, though.
Could it be bad wiring?
That's saying, "I am still here"?
Well, and I don't know, the cast member just being a little crazy.
Maybe.
Hearing stuff. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I think it's just bad wiring. Creaky pipes, probably. Creaky pipes.
I am still here.
If I was a ghost, I would be mean.
Would you be actually mean?
No,
or
no,
would
no,
you
no.
be mischievous?
Harmless, completely harmless, but
we have the deal that if you go before me, you're gonna come back and haunt me.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I might be enjoying wherever I'm off hanging out.
But I want you to haunt me.
Usually haunting spirits are have unfinished business.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, that's no good.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Do you know that Space Mountain has an undead rider? Space Mountain, they have nicknamed him Mr. One Way. He is described as a large man with red hair and a red face. The legend is he sits in a seat next to single riders when they don't put in another one.
And he shows up on the ride photo?
And he disappears by the end of the ride.
That would be super creepy. Did some guy have a heart attack on the ride or something?
He has also been spotted in the cast member locker room. Nobody knows who he is, but many people have seen him. But yeah, so near the cast member locker room, but there's no record of him ever being a cast member.
Right.
by this large redheaded man sitting next to you, and then you go and he's not there at the end of the ride? No, thank you.
I feel like you would notice someone not being there anymore. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh.
Weird.
Speaking of roller coasters.
I just thought it would be fun if you were on the ride and you were a single rider and like you had no one beside me, but then you went to look at your ride photo and there was someone beside you in the ride photo. That'd be cool.
That would be cool and also terrifying.
I'd be like, oh, neat.
Hey, Mr. One Way.
Yeah.
But yeah, but isn't that interesting?
Why is he Mr. One Way?
I don't know why it's been.
He only rides
one
way.
But you only ever ride one way in Space Mountain.
I don't know.
Speaking of roller coasters, this one has a name and a history that they know of. In 1984, a woman named Dolly Young was killed when she was thrown from the bobsled. The story goes that during, like the big drop, kind of near the end-ish there, that she had undone her belt to help a child who was like, something was wrong and she was helping a kid anyway. Not wrong like the kid was going to get thrown, like it was probably a kid crying or something.
Well, sounds like a Darwin Award to me.
So she was then thrown from the bobsled. Ever since her death, so this is 1984. Ever since her death, cast members who are required to walk the tracks when the ride shuts down say they can hear her. In fact, the section of the track where Dolly died has been nicknamed Dolly's Dip.
Yeah. Which, do you know which side?
I don't have it recorded here. I have heard before. I feel like it's the Tomorrowland side, although I could be wrong.
I mean, 50-50 shot.
Well, I mean, that is true. That is totally true. I feel like I'm going to look this up.
Yes, let's look it up.
Dolly was a mother who went on the ride with her children. She was worried about them, so she undid her seatbelt and turned to look at them. The train went into a sharp decline, now known as Dolly's Dip. Yeah. And she was thrown and run over by the next bobsled. So not only did, the throw didn't kill her, it was being hit by an oncoming bobsled. Can you imagine the people sitting in that bobsled?
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be not fun. Not fun at all.
Nope. The Matterhorn also killed in 1964 a teenager who tried to stand up for the Matterhorn after someone, either himself or his riding companion, there's been debate on that, unfastened his seatbelt. He tried to stand up. He fell from the sled and was critically injured. He died from his injuries 3 days later.
Maybe don't undo your safety belt on a
exactly
ride. I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
But
good plan.
Yeah.
Which side is Dolly's Dip?
Tomorrowland side.
Tomorrowland side. That is a pretty violent dip on that one.
That is, and I think that is exactly where it is where she was thrown. So interesting. I mean, there's been, stories about the Matterhorn, and there's also a lot of stories about, all the hidden places in Disneyland, right? You have the tunnels in the back rooms and the upper areas of the Matterhorn, and employees say that, being in those places is just very unnerving and very creepy and everything.
Well,
and the Matterhorn's always one of those ones that gets mentioned.
So they have that break room in the Matterhorn with the basketball net. That's very famous. I'm sure at night and in the dark, if you're there by yourself, it'd be super creepy.
Mm-hmm. It is said that a ghost of a teenager can be seen at night running alongside the monorail train. In June of 1960...
Alongside the monorail.
You look out and you
But there's nothing to run on.
I don't think the ghost is obeying physics.
Yeah, but why would they be running?
He's called the monorail runner. In June of 1966, a teenager tried to sneak into Disneyland for grad night by climbing a fence and crossing the monorail track. When he was spotted by a security guard, the teenager panicked and ran, but he was struck and killed by an oncoming monorail train. The ghost of the teenager can be seen at night, running alongside. We rode monorail at night a lot. We have got to keep our eyes out for that one.
Usually when we're riding it at night, it's because we're leaving to go back and pass out in the hotel room, and my feet really hurt, so I probably...
That's probably...
Yeah, I don't know. And we only did that this last time because it was so rainy that we didn't want to walk all the way. Mm-hmm. And the energy was sapped out of us.
Do you want to hear a nice one now?
You already told me a nice one. I want more spooky ones. I want spooky.
Okay, The Spirit in the River. In June of 1973, 2 boys stayed on Tom Sawyer's Island after the park closed.
Okay, I've heard this story. I didn't know there was... It makes sense that there would be
Of course. They tried to escape by swimming across rivers of America, for those who don't know, and the older brother drowned. Of course, had he just stood up...
Yeah, it's not very deep, no.
No, he would have been fine. Cast members have often seen a ghost rippling the water. They see like a humanoid shape out there, or shadows, and then they look and it's gone, but it's rippling the water.
It's a duck. It's probably a duck.
Mm-mm. How about the ghost who prefers blondes? In 1967, a teenager was killed on the People Mover ride. Legend has it that his ghost haunts Tomorrowland.
He's probably mad that the People Mover closed down.
Yeah. The ghost reportedly grabs the hair of females, but especially blondes.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, the teenager is creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have put... I have categorized the next, into 2 categories now, okay?
Okay.
So this one, there's the before Disneyland existed category.
Oh, right, yeah. Like when it was
really,
orange groves and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So apparently, there was a really bad flood in the early 1900s. And the story is that 2 little girls that died during the flood frequently haunt different areas, but they're most often seen on the walkway from Fantasyland to Frontierland, and people hear them like kind of the shape of them or shadows of them, and they often hear them laughing and giggling.
Yeah, they're probably super stoked, these early 20th century girls, and then they built this the happiest place on earth where they happen to have drowned, so they get to hang out in
they're like,
Fantasyland.
Hey, this is better than a bunch of trees. I'm just saying.
Be princesses for all time.
But they're not. Apparently, they do wander around most of the park. They also are particularly fond of the island, but they do spend a lot of time in Fantasyland. And people often wonder, because there's this very famous cast member story about one night. These cast members, you know how they go through and they clean and they have to collect all the strollers and all of that kind of stuff. And so they were doing that, and they are very meticulous. They go from ride to ride. It's all very organized into a system. And they had left the Casey Jr. area. And all of a sudden they heard noises and giggling and children laughing. And the park had been closed a very long time at this point. And there were little girls, 2 little girls whispering and laughing. And they turn around and they saw shadows moving towards the Dumbo ride, and all the lights went on the Dumbo ride.
Oh.
And it started spinning and music playing and everything. Now, they said normally, sometimes cast members will do a run through on a ride to just do that as part of cleaning up and everything. But they had just left there and there was no one in the area at all. In Fantasyland.
That would be a chilling. That would be chilling, yeah.
So the question is it the same girls? Another story. Someone who died...
It would be fun to be a spirit at Disneyland. I think that'd be fun.
Exactly. And then a ghost... This is called the Woman in White. There's always a woman in white, isn't there? A ghost dressed in 19th century gown. This is, again, someone who was believed... Maybe not necessarily the flood, because it's a little bit before that, but previous to it being a park. Has been spotted on Main Street after dark. Legend has it that she guides lost children to the Disneyland Baby Care Center.
Aww.
But she's considered to be, she's described as being all white and corseted and very old-fashioned, but actually so much so that you wouldn't actually look twice on Main Street, just
you'd be like, oh, someone's
in costume for a thing, yeah. or whatever. But yeah, she...
like Mary Poppins or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, she appears before lost crying children and walks them towards the baby center.
It is Mary Poppins.
It might be Mary Poppins. All right, and then I have a lot of Haunted Mansion ones.
Okay, let's do the Haunted Mansion stories.
But this one is still before Disneyland was a park. A small plane crashed in the 1940s in Anaheim. The pilot is now believed to be haunting the Haunted Mansion.
How does that work?
He is... Well, Anaheim didn't exist as it did then, so it would have been in the area. So has a cane at the loading dock where guests board doom buggies. He's been seen just standing there, like with a cane. So he's often just described as the man with the cane or the pilot with a cane.
Huh.
Most of the other ones are about people doing the thing you're not supposed to be doing. Don't spread ashes at Disneyland.
Yeah, those get vacuumed up anyway, so it's like kind of...
And if you get caught, you're banned for life. Not worth it. The exit of the haunted mansion is said to be haunted by the ghost of a crying boy. The story goes the boy's mother spread her son's ashes in the haunted mansion without Disneyland's permission. They're not going to give you permission for any of it. The ghost also has been seen on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which was described as being one of his other favorites. But he's always just seen sitting or standing and by himself crying.
Because he got vacuumed up.
Probably. The story also goes that one of the first test guests prior to the Haunted Mansion opening actually died inside the mansion of a heart attack.
I sincerely doubt that, but okay. Continue.
Construction on the Haunted Mansion began in 1963, and during initial plans and walkthroughs when the exterior was done but the interior was not, the story goes that one of the first test guests doing the walkthrough was so scared she died of a heart attack inside the mansion. Her death is what led to the closing of construction until 1969. We know that's not true.
No, it's...
But there have been stories about a woman matching her description, haunting the ride.
Her description of nothing, because it doesn't... Anyway. Okay.
The most famous one, though, is the little boy. Every year when the Haunted Mansion undergoes the Halloween to Christmas refurb, in the Nightmare Before Christmas Haunted Mansion holiday, a new gingerbread house is built. Apparently, the house kept mysteriously losing roof shingles. And the joke was that the hungry spirit was suspected. So now, every year, the designers leave an extra gingerbread shingle on a separate plate so the ghost can still have gingerbread without messing up the house. Reportedly, the piece of gingerbread on the plate has continued to disappear, but the house itself has now remained untouched.
Oh, okay, so I get this.
Little boys.
Well, yeah. Well, like, that started as the rumor, and now some cast member always takes the piece of gingerbread as like a tradition.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm not a non-believer, but I am extremely skeptical of most things. Like, you know? What about you?
I'm going through and seeing if there was any... No, the rest was about the little boy. More stories of the little boy being mischievous or crying.
Crying, mischievous little boy.
Yeah. I am... You said that you're skeptical, but you do believe?
I don't presume to know enough about anything to say what's impossible, right?
That's usually what I say. I say I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything.
But I do think that in like most cases there's some sort of rational explanation for things.
I think that...
And I just like going into creepy places and letting your imagination run wild.
Right.
Like, that's just fun to me.
I walk the line because I think that places with a lot of history or that have a lot of emotions, like, we attach emotion to objects all the time and things, so places, it makes sense.
Emotional and mental energy is just energy, right?
Right.
And energy can't be destroyed.
Exactly. So I don't know. Understand that. I think some of them are more believable than others. Like, generally full body apparition type things, I have a little bit of a harder time with.
Class 5.
Exactly. Watched Ghostbusters a lot, have you? But energies and things like that, for sure. Yeah. But I also do believe. So do we have time to tell a ghost story? Okay.
We're running short this week, so it's good.
I wanna talk about the first time we went on a ghost hunt.
Okay.
So my family is from a farm in like near a small town, and a nearby, sort of nearby rural area. There's out on the prairies. There's all these one-room schoolhouses that were also like community halls, and one of these places has been made into a little bit of a museum, but they were doing a ghost hunt, and you had always wanted to go, so we went with my a couple family members. And I was so scared. I was like so nervous about going. So we went.
You scare easily, so
I do. I scare easily. I'm a big chicken. But everyone else was, the four of us, I didn't want to be the only one not to go. So I agreed to go. So we went, and it was a little before sunset, or about sunset. And they kind of divided the whole big group up into, there was a bunch of people, but divided into 3 groups. And they say, okay, well, like the one group, and only one group is going to be during the day inside the schoolhouse.
Daylight inside the schoolhouse.
And so right away I volunteered our group, and everyone was kind of annoyed about it because you want to do the creepy stuff, right?
Yeah, I want to do the creepy stuff.
Yeah, except we started to walk in, and as we're going in, she turns around and says, you guys are so lucky because it was a schoolhouse, it was open during the day, so there's actually way more activity during the day. And then went in the house, and I was so upset about me volunteering. So we went in, and like a lot of these small town museums, there's a room dedicated to farming and mining and different, community events.
And then they have an old schoolroom set up.
Exactly, which is, so we had all the machines that you see on TV, and not a whole lot was happening. You may have gotten a gust of wind or something, but it's also, again, a really old building.
Yeah, you got your electromagnetic meter that's looking for different changes in energy, and then you got the white noise machine that kind of scrolls through radio stations really fast, because sometimes they can try to communicate through radio broadcasts or whatever, and whatever that makes sounds and stuff like that. And we had some infrared cameras as well. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we got to the schoolroom, and we're trying to contact the spirits or whatever of the children, and it's nothing's
really happening. And so they said, well, sometimes it was actually students' work that they had. I mean, schools keep everything. It was boxes of students' work on display. It was done up like an old schoolroom. And they said, well, sometimes, if you read some of their stuff, this helps communicate, because nothing's working at this point. And of course, they want something to happen.
Yeah, of course.
So at this point, I'm a lot less nervous because nothing's been happening.
Yeah, but you're just like, oh, I'm in this old museum, whatever.
Whatever. I'm in rooms like this all the time. So, someone read a little bit from one of the booklets and nothing happened, and someone else read little booklets and nothing happened. And we went through a few people, and then she said, well, sometimes it helps if a woman does, because especially if it's children, the teachers were women and they respond well to mothers and things like that. And I said, well, okay. So I read, and apparently something happened.
Well, the video picked up some floating orbs, and I still think it was probably dust particles, but
it only
they
happened,
look kind of weird.
It looked kind of weird, and apparently it only happened when I was reading.
Yeah.
It didn't happen because several people had read before that, and then several people read after that. And I just remember because she said, well, actually that shouldn't be that uncommon because you're about the age, maternal energy and the age of a lot of the mothers and stuff, if they respond to that. And I said, well, I don't have children. And then you said, but I'm a teacher. And I was like, the ghost children don't know that.
I mean, real children kind of sense it, so
That's what you said. You said we walk down the street and real children come and talk to you, which is not a normal thing.
No.
Why would not real ones be any different? But, so on the one hand, that was kind of a cool experience. Nothing really scary, but it was interesting. So, okay. Later, though, we were out in the coulees and the hills and everything there. And they were, does anyone want to communicate? There had been some stories about hikers going missing and things like that, or dying. So trying to communicate with ghosts that way. And nothing was really happening. And then in the distance you heard this sound, and at first it sounded like a wail or like a call. And they were very excited about this, right? So they kept communicating and going back and forth. And then my brother and I looked at each other and were like, that's a cow.
It's just a cow, yeah.
But it sounded weird because of how it was echoing off the hills.
Echoey. Well, and cows don't go moo.
No. Right. So have
it sounds like someone screaming a little bit. Yeah.
Right. And then echoed through the night, and our senses are already doing that. And there was no. This is definitely someone calling. And we looked at each other as the 2 farm kids that grew up there, not from the city, and we're like, nope, it's a cow. But they can believe whatever they want. So maybe something cool was kind of going on in the school, or maybe it was a cow.
Well, I mean, the school definitely wasn't a cow, but
the equivalent
yes.
of, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
And then the tour guides of the ghost hunt did play for us some of their other
Oh, yeah.
Some of their other investigations and things. The one lady likes to go to these haunted places by herself,
which is crazy,
for overnight like stays and
Yeah.
like just, and she had some recordings that were genuinely terrifying.
Yeah, there were some that I was like, I actually am not comfortable listening to this right now, let alone being in a place like that.
You could legitimately hear voices and things, and like
they didn't sound like good voices.
No. Well, yeah, because I think it was from like a prison or something.
Yeah, it was a prison that she was in. And she would stay overnight and just record everywhere. And then at one point, my favorite, this one was funny, and she even said she was okay in this one, but there were places that she was not. Like, you could tell it was not good energy. She went and she was saying, like, the door kept clanging, and she said something like, "Are you trying to scare me?" And you could hear the voice go, "Boo."
Then that was funny. Yeah.
And she said she didn't hear it until she heard it back after, but it was literally like,
So yeah, I don't know. I like scary things. I like spooky things. And I don't know. There might be something.
Yeah.
Something. But also
you're pretty cynical and
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I get scared very easily, but we lived in a house that was like 100 years old, and I'm in there all the time by myself, and I'm fine. So they're like, things carry stories. I think that sometimes it's easier to feel those stories than other times, and I don't know. We also had someone stay there who said our house was haunted.
That is true. Apparently, our Airbnb is haunted, but I don't know.
But we lived there, and I get scared at everything, and I didn't feel anything. And we had a lot of animals who didn't freak out over anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So it might just also be a person. It's crazy, but it's I like stories.
Yeah,
I like stories. I like being scared less than you.
Scary stories to tell in the dark at Disneyland.
Is that the name of the episode?
Yeah.
Were there any that you're surprised I didn't talk about being haunted?
I thought there'd be something for like Big Thunder, because I think that's the other one that's had deaths on it.
Well, I just went to a few, and it was like top 5 like haunted places in Disneyland, or top 10 or whatever, and those were the ones that showed up a lot. Were the ones I went to, so there might be that I didn't, like I said, I want to save some for next time. But the story of Big Thunder is that it is haunted.
Right.
Like, that's the backstory. But I don't know, is it Big Thunder where someone died?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a kid died on Big Thunder, like tried to get out too early or stood up or something.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
There's lots of stories about like the same kind of stories get told over and over again. And a lot of cast members have different stories about like different areas. Apparently there are storage rooms and everything where people are so scared, like no one goes in there. And there's like rules that you, like they make rules among themselves that you don't go in there by yourself. Because it's like,
I'd go in by myself.
I know you would.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Anything to add?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go look for some ghosts next time we're in Disneyland.
I want to see this floating runner on the monorail.
I don't. Well, maybe. I don't though. You know which one I really don't want to see? The 2 little girls who randomly giggle, laugh, and like go on rides by themselves.
No, I want to see them too.
They sound.
I want to
really
give them
scary.
a high five.
They sound so scary.
I mean, the little girl laughter and and
disembodies girl children laughing. Oh, also near New Orleans Square, there's always a little kid.
I think that is a little creepy, but I think I want to give them a high five because that's
for being
awesome.
creepy.
Yeah,
yeah, because nothing is the only thing creepier than disembodied little girl laughter is like 2 of them. Please, I really hope they run around holding hands. Oh. No, I don't want to spoil it. A student told me an awesome Halloween costume that she is doing, and I don't want to spoil it in case any of my students are listening.
Yeah, no.
Because it's so good, though.
That can be your nerd thing next week.
Sure.
Your favorite Halloween costumes at school or something.
Deal. So, that is our episode this week.
Spooky season's over.
Oh, no. What are we gonna
do? I don't know.
We wait all year for spooky season.
Yeah,
that's sad.
It's gonna be festive season, which is okay.
I love festive season.
It's mostly about getting fat and jolly, though, and
I'm super excited for festive season, but we're not there yet.
We're pretty darn close now.
We're pretty close. It snowed a bunch, and every year it looks very festive out.
Yeah.
Also, I decorate really early, so, yay. Well, contact us on our social media or through our website to chat, or just say hi, or if you want to comment about any haunted stories you have from the Disney parks. That was my spooky sounds. Thank you, Elmule, who's responsible for the custom theme song you heard at the top of our show. You can find a link to his work as well at our website. That's disneya.wixsite.com/podcast. And that is also where you can find links to our social media accounts and our email. We are currently on Facebook and Instagram and only kind of sort of on Twitter. But you can also find Disney A episodes on all of your favorite podcast streaming platforms and on our YouTube channel, Adventures A. If you've rated or reviewed our podcast, thank you. And if you haven't yet, please do. And if you know someone who might be like listening to us, be sure to recommend Disney A as well. Especially if you want Brandon to do your Better Know a Listener.
Yeah, I didn't do one this week because
it's spooky season.
We were away and it's spooky season.
Yeah. It's Halloween instead.
Come up with a good one next week. So,
good call. Good idea. So I'm Krysta.
I'm Brandon.
And until the next adventure, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Thanks for listening to Disney A.
I'm so scared.